What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Strangest Minds. I'm Fernando, and today we're gonna check out Scary Comp, scariest videos that viewers regret watching alone. So, I am a huge fan of this content creator, Scary Comp, and let's see what he has in store for us today. Let's go.
A woman named Jennifer owns a beautiful historic home dating all the way back to 1907, filled with antique pieces that go as far back as 1903. At first glance, the house looks warm, elegant, and full of character. But not long after moving in, Jennifer began experiencing things she couldn't explain. Things that slowly became impossible to ignore. She started hearing footsteps when no one else was around. Faint whispering, objects shifting on their own, and shadows moving just outside her field of vision. What makes this even more unsettling is what Jennifer later discovered. After speaking with a local historian, she learned that when the house was built, there were no nearby hospitals. And it's believed that at least 4 people died inside the home. Deaths that likely occurred under stressful emotional circumstances. The kind many believe can leave a lasting imprint on a place. And, based on Jennifer's previous clips, many viewers already suspected the house itself was the source. One evening, just as Jennifer was about to sit down for dinner, she started hearing strange noises coming from inside the house. Watch closely.
I'm hearing a few things. It's like 4:45, so I'm just going to listen and see if I can catch anything. Okay, I thought I just heard music. I want to go up on this landing and see if I can hear it better. Okay, well, listen up here. I seriously feel like I'm hearing people have a conversation. No one's here but me. Oh my gosh. I'm hearing movement. Down there. And then I heard something up here. Do you hear that? It sounds like music. Well, it's the usual dinner time activity. I'm gonna play it back and see if I caught anything.
What makes this clip so disturbing is how differently people hear it. Some say it sounds like soft humming. Others hear knocking, while many insist they can clearly make out a man's voice saying, "I'm fine." A few even believe they hear faint music. The most chilling part is that none of these sounds seem to have a clear source. After watching the clip, people couldn't agree on one explanation, only that something about it doesn't feel right. So what did you hear? Do you think this house is holding on to its past? Or is something inside becoming aware of the people living there now? You decide. This footage.
Well, I could tell you one thing. I really like this video. And just so you guys know, when I say I really like this video, I believe this is real. So the fact that, one of the things that I always talk about, and it's going to sound like a rant, but I really hate the way Hollywood portrays paranormal activity, because they seem to want to over dramatize the paranormal, and it leaves these people, their audience, in a state of, you know, if something paranormal happens, oh my god, it's the scariest thing in the world. No, this is a perfect example of how subtle paranormal activity can be. Now, when you have paranormal activity that it's just really, really strong, it is a rare occurrence, very rare. Not saying that, ghosts are going to, flip out one day, because, sometimes putting ourselves in their shoes, if you are, we don't really know how the life after death works. So if you are trying to get a message across, you get frustrated. So you try and do more, right? But sometimes I feel, especially in this case, um, what if they don't even know you're there? Like the movie The Others with Nicole Kidman. That is an awesome, one of the most real, or closest to the real paranormal activity you could watch. Because what if, since entities are in another realm, we are colliding? So what if they don't even know we're there, right? Now there are instances where ghosts do know that we're there, and they're, content with the situation. So it's almost like having people living in your household. But again, we don't know what is their, case. Like, are they stuck? Do they need help? This is why paranormal investigators should be a profession, and, and start doing things. Because as of right now, like how my good friend Joe Frankie says from the Warren Legacy um, Foundation, you know, as of right now, this is a what was it they said? This isn't a occupation. This is a vocation. Basically, in other words, paranormal investigating is a hobby. You can't really, get paid or charge for this service, because anybody could just be like, hey, I'm a paranormal investigator. Let me investigate your house. Let me charge you, so on and so forth. We can't do that, but this video I really liked. So let's see what else has Scary Comp has in store for us.
Was recorded inside the Lizzie Borden house, specifically in the Abby and Andrew suite, a room already known for unexplained activity. At the time, an investigator named Kyle was exploring the house completely alone. As he attempts to enter the suite, the door repeatedly locks on him. There's no one else nearby, no one touching the handle. Eventually, Kyle manages to force the door open and starts recording. But the moment he steps inside, something feels wrong. The entire room is flooded with an intense red light, casting heavy shadows across the walls and furniture. Kyle slowly moves through the space, unsure why the lighting has suddenly changed.
Trying to enter the Abby and Andrew suite at the Lizzie Borden house. The door locked on me with no one in there. This is really terrifying.
As he continues filming, a door inside the suite suddenly closes on its own. No one is near it. Even stranger. The camera briefly slips out of focus right as Kyle enters the room. Some investigators believe this happens when something unseen passes close to the lens. Between the locking door, the sudden movement, and the camera struggling to focus, the room feels less like an empty space and more like somewhere already occupied. Later, in a separate moment from the same house, another disturbing scene is captured. A doorway appears ahead, and the door begins to slowly slide back and forth on its own. Each time it opens, it reveals a creepy doll inside the room. Then it closes again. Over and over. The movement is smooth and controlled, not like a draft, almost like something is choosing exactly when the doll should be seen.
This is happening again. I will show you no one is there.
Did the doll get closer?
After several
Hell yeah.
minutes, the door suddenly stops moving altogether. The silence that follows feels heavier than the motion itself. Kyle decides he's seen enough. He backs away from the room and kicks the doll down the hallway, putting as much distance as possible between himself and the suite. But the
Dead.
activity doesn't stop there. In another clip from the same location, a wooden door can be seen trying to open from the other side. The only thing preventing it from fully opening is a metal chain lock. The pressure against the door looks constant, not random, almost as if something is testing the chain, pulling just hard enough to make it rattle.
This place is so haunted. Locked. Bathroom empty. Help.
Not long after, Kyle attempts to enter a different room in the house, but this door refuses to open. As he pushes, the door pushes back, not like it's stuck, but like something on the other side is holding it shut. The resistance never changes. After everything he's witnessed, Kyle decides to leave the house entirely. So, is the Lizzie Borden house simply old and unstable? Or is something inside deciding who can enter and who can't? As always, you decide. Danny works.
So, the Lizzie Borden house, the infamous house, which, how can I put it this way without throwing shade, right? Because at first, obviously, if you guys don't know who Lizzie Borden is, I think there's even a show on Netflix about it. It tells you the whole history and what happened inside the house. It is very similar to, the legacy of the Amityville horror house. Um, there is, I visited the Lizzie Borden house, but I didn't go inside because unfortunately, to even step foot in the house, you need to pay, right? They turned the house into an Airbnb now. So for you to sleep in there, you have to pay an arm and a leg to to sleep in a Lizzie Borden house. Everything is business now. So for the Lizzie Borden house, if you want to go visit, I do highly recommend. But you have to pay a lot of money, right? To investigate. What? Forget about it. You need a whole team, and the whole team needs to pay an arm and a leg. You know? So that's one of the things about the paranormal field, that like if there is an infamous house out there, guarantee is going to turn into a money grab. So, with that being said, yes, the Lizzie Borden house apparently is very haunted. Now, with this video, is it like this? I can't say. I have never been inside of it, but let's say with the sliding door opening and closing, and that doll getting closer to the door. They didn't mention that in the video, but the doll moved closer. But there was a pause in the video. So you guys already know me. If I find a red flag, you could pretty much scrap the whole video. That is just my opinion. Um, Another thing is I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But Scary Comp kept on saying, Kyle, 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 right? I could be wrong. But it seemed like it was a girl holding and recording. They, even when she field goal the doll, which I was about to say, that's what you got to do. I think it was a Hello Kitty PJs, right? Or something like this. Pink. right? Anyway, I digress. But yeah, is paranormal activity like that in there? I can't say. I've never been in there, but it does seem everything orchestrated, and I definitely see a house like the Lizzie Borden house very happy to put this kind of video out there so they could get more traffic into their business.
The closing shift at a local gym, a place where he says strange and unexplained things have been happening for weeks. One night around 10:30 p.m., Danny finds himself completely alone after locking up for the night. As he finishes up at the reception desk, he suddenly hears something that makes him stop and pull out his phone to record. This is what he captures.
Pero esta es mi área de trabajo. Y ese es el gimnasio. Está cerrado con llave. O sea, como puedes ver, está cerrado con llave. Y justo de aquel lado, justo allá, por ahí, se escuchó que algo se movió. O sea, las barras olímpicas, se escuchó como las volvieron a poner ahí en su lugar. Porque cuando las ponen en su lugar tiene un sonido muy específico. Y justamente ahí, me lo voy a poner ahí. Esa banca de ahí, cuando yo estoy desde mi escritorio, se alcanza a ver. Y literalmente se vio como alguien se asomó como hacia acá y se volvió a meter, se escondió. Se empezaron a escuchar ruidos, ahorita está la música y tal vez este video tenga copyright, pero se alcanzó a escuchar el sonido y... ¡Ay, puta madre! Ahí está, ahí está. Ahí está. No, man.
Even though the gym is locked and empty, loud metallic sounds echo through the building. It sounds exactly like gym equipment being moved. Danny later explains that while standing at the front desk, he thought he saw a face briefly peeking out at him from across the gym. But when he looked again, there was no one there. Trying to stay calm, Danny attempts to recreate the sound himself and realizes it closely resembles the noise of someone re-racking a barbell.
Lo que se escuchó literalmente fue esto. El sonido y...
Unsure what to make of it, Danny shrugs it off and continues his closing duties. But not long after, something else happens that makes him question whether this really has a normal explanation. Watch closely.
Porque esto pasa muy... ¿Viste? O sea, mira, vamos a pensar. Son 10:35. Ahorita ya no debe de haber nadie. No voy a poner ni pausa ni nada. Ajá. Tú lo escuchaste. Yo lo escuché. Tú lo... O sea, veamos. Esa fue una, ¿no? La otra. Tú escuchaste las subidas de escaleras. Como si corrieran. No voy a poner pausa porque la neta... me llaman loco, me dicen es el aire, me dicen son tus energías, me dicen madre y media, pero mira, no estoy loco. No estoy loco. Está cerrado. Está cerrado. Digo, si lo fuerzo no quiero romperlo, pero... No mames.
From somewhere inside the gym, Danny hears what sounds like someone suddenly running up the stairs.
Someone?
Almost immediately after, he hears movement again, this time coming from directly behind him.
Tú lo...
When Danny cautiously heads upstairs to check, he makes a disturbing discovery. Behind a locked door, 3 heavy punching bags can be seen swinging back and forth on their own, despite no one else being in the building. Danny now believes that whatever is happening inside the gym isn't natural. But for now, there haven't been any further updates. So what do you think is really going on here? 2 sisters.
I mean, honestly, that is an amazing looking gym. Am I wrong? That gym looks awesome. Now, the fact that it's haunted, dude, that's an amazing freaking gym. I would come out looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger back at his peak. Going to that gym, exercise, and get myself a haunt day or two. There was a part of the video while he was going up the stairs, which was a little weird because it looked like there were like a shiny string twice. It happened. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, review to the point where he is going up the stairs before reaching the punching bag. There were like in the middle of the screen there was two shiny strings. So I don't know what to make of that. But the way he's been, talking, reacting, trying to show us everything, you know, it sounds legit. What do you guys think?
They're home alone when their house alarm suddenly begins to go off. Fearing that someone may have broken in, they hide and wait, unsure of what's happening inside their home.
I'm recording. Wait. Do you hear that?
When they later review their security footage, it appears that their front door had opened, suggesting that someone may have entered the house. But what's strange is that when the moment is replayed, no one can be seen opening the door. It simply swings open on its own. At the time, the sisters didn't witness this happen. They only knew the door was suddenly open. Adding to the panic, they can be heard reacting to the sound of a police siren outside their home. And just when it seems like things couldn't escalate any further, something else appears.
Can you check the security footage? Yeah. Oh my God. What is it? Clear. Clear.
It becomes clear that something else may have been inside the house that night, but not what the sisters were expecting. While they initially believed a person had broken in, the footage shows a small, shadowy figure darting past the camera at incredible speed. The figure has no clear shape or features and vanishes almost instantly.
The fact that it just moved so quickly,
Yeah.
but then like the motion capture camera didn't see that shape, and like when it was
how could
tracking
it have
the
even
movement.
known that it was?
Even more unsettling, the security camera itself seems confused by whatever is moving through the house. At times, the camera fails to lock on to anything at all. But in other moments, a green detection box appears in a completely dark room, as if something invisible is being briefly identified. The sisters say their camera has never behaved like this before, and it all began the same night the door opened on its own.
Front door opening on its own.
Yeah,
that shit was
that's
closed. We closed that door.
And I mean, this house is like brand new. Like it's not old or like anything.
Yeah, it's not like the latches are like faulty
everything
or something.
works.
Because the activity appears to start with the unexplained opening of the door, the sisters believe that something paranormal may have forced its way inside. This raises an unsettling question about what was happening earlier in the video. Did something supernatural open the door at the beginning? Or is there another explanation entirely? After reviewing the footage, it's hard to say what was really captured that night. So just what do you think the camera was detecting? As always, let me know your thoughts. Back in 2020,
So I've already seen that video. Actually, you'll notice in that video when it comes out, whenever it comes out, I'm wearing the same thing because I am recording a bunch of videos today, and that is one of the videos that I already reacted to, and I just finished seeing it. And yeah, one thing that I forgot to mention is, just in case if there's anybody wondering why I didn't speak about when the camera pans towards the front door, there's a square like hanging, and you see something just vanishing. That is actually the what's that thing called? It's not a humidifier. It's something that throws like an aroma, like something to keep the house smelling fresh. That's a spray coming out from that device in front of you. The black thing with the blue light. That's just a spray. Just in case, that's the only thing I didn't mention when I reacted to it last time. But yeah, that video, I actually said that it was very interesting because when the black figure ran across from the reflection of the microwave, right before it comes out of frame, it becomes transparent. And the way everything played out, I actually liked that video very, very much. So let's keep it going.
a woman named Sylvia decided to experiment with a Ouija board. Late one night, she sat at her kitchen table, turned off the lights, and lit a few candles, never expecting anything to actually happen. But in the days that followed, strange and unsettling activity began to spread throughout her home. The kitchen sink would turn on by itself. Objects would slowly slide across the counters, and at times, items were violently thrown across the room. Whatever Sylvia may have invited in didn't seem interested in leaving. As the activity escalated, she eventually created a YouTube channel to document everything she was experiencing.
Nice and moving.
In one of her videos, Sylvia captures knives rocking back and forth as a kitchen cabinet slowly opens on its own. Moments later, heavy pots begin falling from the counter and crashing onto the floor. And this was only the beginning. From that point on, anytime Sylvia heard unexplained movement coming from the kitchen, she knew she needed to start recording immediately.
Put the camera on, guys, because
Plate's moving. That plate. I'm scared to go in the kitchen in case it comes out. It's me. Can you see that? That plate is moving. Oh my god. Just broke that plate. Oh my god, guys.
Sylvia hoped that over time the activity would fade, but instead it only seemed to grow more aggressive.
Knife was moving like a minute. That knife's moving. Oh, oh, guys.
In another disturbing clip, Sylvia stands frozen as a block of knives begins to shift on its own. Without warning, one of the knives suddenly launches in her direction. This moment marks a turning point, because whatever is causing the activity is no longer just moving objects. It could seriously hurt her. Now fast forward to 2025, 5 years after the haunting first began, and Sylvia says she's still living with the same dark presence inside her home.
Guys, I heard the kettle going. Guys, I've just heard the kettle going on itself. I didn't put it on. Let's put it in the kitchen. Put the kettle on. Oh, let's put it in the kitchen. What are you trying to tell me? Why did you do that? Why did you put the kettle on? Why did you put the kettle on? Oh my god, guys. Oh, get out of my kitchen. Get out of my house. Let's put it in the kitchen. I'm fed up with this now.
After years of non-stop poltergeist activity, Sylvia is clearly exhausted and terrified. And even after all this time, she says the fear hasn't faded at all. So the question is, did Sylvia truly invite something into her home back in 2020? Or is there another explanation for what's been happening all these years? As always, you decide. This video was...
So my thing is, right, I feel for this person if they are going through this activity. But I don't know, guys. It was rubbing me the wrong way. You know, the fact that all of this is happening. And, you know, apparently she's terrified. But yet she has the strength to record and stay in the kitchen while everything's going on. That doesn't really coincide with the aspect of you being terrified, right? I mean, thankfully, you know, if this is real, thankfully she had the courage to record everything. But being terrified, I think the last thing you're going to want is to record anything, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. That seemed like her fear was a little, oh, that almost like a Jim Carrey when they say like overacted, right? That's just a sense. This is just my opinion, you guys. Don't hate on me. But also, you know, damn. Uh, a couple of years, almost damn near a decade, from 2017 to 2025, she's still recording these incidents, and it, you know, what has she done? It doesn't seem like she has done anything except record, right? So, you know, that's a red flag to me. And the fact of the matter is, all of that, you know, there's an infamous poltergeist activity video that went super viral. Everybody went crazy on it until somebody actually went in there and investigated and just debunked everything because the guy was orchestrating the whole entire show, right? Yeah. If that guy could do that to that kitchen, this is nothing. Nothing. So, unfortunately, my answer would be this is orchestrated just because after almost a decade of experiencing this, and she's still, you know, not really doing nothing except recording. Like people usually gravitate towards trying to find a solution, and she didn't, right? So that's just my opinion, you guys. What's yours?
Recorded inside the home of a woman named Misty Huron early one morning. At first, nothing about it seems out of the ordinary. So take a close look.
Do y'all see what I mean? I mean, literally, I try to be done. I don't talk about it. I don't do all the things. And it's 7 a.m. on a Wednesday. And my light is just having a freaking party on its own. Just trying to make breakfast, make lunches. Here's my switch and whatever, remote. And here we are. Happy Wednesday, y'all.
At first glance, it's easy to dismiss what you're seeing here as a simple electrical issue, a faulty switch, old wiring, something mundane. But before settling on that explanation, there's more to the story that needs context. Misty says that strange things have been happening inside this house for quite some time, and when those experiences are put together, they become harder to ignore. One incident occurred while Misty and her family were away on vacation. A neighbor later contacted her and said that every night, as he drove past the house, he noticed the lights turning on and off repeatedly, despite the house being completely empty. On another day during the trip, Misty asked the same neighbor to unlock the front door so the housekeeper could enter before he left for work. He confirmed that he unlocked the door, but only minutes later, the housekeeper called Misty in a panic, saying the door was locked and she couldn't get inside. When Misty called the neighbor back, he insisted again that he had unlocked it and that no one else had been there since. Misty also says that toys inside the house have turned on by themselves and malfunctioned without explanation. And one room in particular has become infamous, a room where the family claims they've repeatedly heard something laughing, and where objects seem to move on their own. So when you connect the light switching on and off, the locked doors, the malfunctioning toys, and the unexplained laughter, does it still feel like faulty wiring? As always, I'll let you decide. TikTok.
So, yes, that could be faulty wiring, some sort of malfunction with the lamp. And what the neighbor is seeing, it's that, right? Two different instances coinciding with the same situation. That's what they're experiencing. As far as everything else that was said, the toys turning on and the voices and everything, we didn't see or hear these clips. So to me, it just seems like it's a he say, she say, right? But, giving them the benefit of the doubt, let's just assume that it's real. And as far as the housekeeper is concerned, that could be done by human error. Somebody rushing out of the house, somebody going in. When somebody gets a job to do, like a dog walking, house sitting, even, lawning, doing landscaping and stuff like this, people, you're getting paid a certain amount of money to do a certain job. So naturally, if you could do it fast, you're getting paid pretty good to do something that won't take a lot of time of your day. So who's not to say, as far as human error is concerned, this person goes in, checks, leaves, and forgot, right? I'm not saying that, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying that none of this is really happening. It does seem like a subtle video. Everything seems like subtle thus far, so it could be real. But the fact is, we cannot, let's say, if she was to present this, I need help with, like, let's say the church or somebody that could go and exercise what's going on. They're going to be like, that's it. I mean, I'm just being real, right? We're going to need more to assume that all of this is a connection to paranormal activity.
User Beard Dude shared a series of videos that he claims were recorded while working alone as a gardener in a cemetery. In the first clip, he says he's been noticing strange movement around the area and believes something might be nearby. Speaking calmly, he addresses whatever he thinks could be there and asks it to give him a sign. Specifically, he asks that if it's in the room with him, it should close the door in front of him. At first, nothing happens. There's a brief pause, and then, suddenly, the door moves.
I heard you over there. I heard you moving around. Let me know you're here. Close that door. Yes, this is your cemetery, I know. I'm just trying to keep it nice for you. Keep it maintained and looking nice. Out of respect. I'm not trying to...
In the second video, Beard Dude is walking through another part of the work site. He explains that he keeps hearing strange shuffling sounds coming from behind a cement mixer. Each time he goes to check, there's nothing there. No one else is on site. No visible movement. But as he continues filming and looks away for just a moment, something unexpected happens nearby.
So I'm hearing shuffling now. It sounded like it was behind the cement mixer. Fast footsteps or something that was back there. And clearly you can see there's nobody back there.
I can't imagine being charged by 5 full-grown animals.
So, not sure what that was. Reach behind there. All right then. That.
The third and final clip was recorded on a rainy day. Beard Dude says that whenever the weather turns bad, unusual things seem to happen around him. He's focused on finishing his work as rain falls steadily around the cemetery, and once again, without warning, an object nearby suddenly moves on its own.
A rainy day up here. You gotta love it. I swear, anytime the weather's like this, weird shit happens. So let's hope today is not one of those days. There's that thing. Holy f***. Yeah, that's just f***ing great. Hell no.
Seeing tools and equipment shift or appear to be thrown while working alone in a cemetery is bound to raise a few eyebrows. Some viewers believe the repeated incidents, combined with the setting, suggest something paranormal, especially since the objects don't simply tip over, but seem to move with force. Others argue there could be practical explanations. Uneven ground, wind, vibrations from nearby equipment, or slick surfaces from the rain could all play a role. Skeptics also point out that some reactions happen just off camera, making it hard to rule out unseen factors. So is this just environmental conditions playing tricks at the worst possible location, or is something else making its presence known? As always, you decide.
Yeah, I agree with the skeptics on this particular video because as far as the cone and the saw, it always happens, when the camera's not looking, right? So who's not to say this guy's actually doing it himself, throwing the cone, throwing the saw? Who's not to say that? Another thing is with the door. We saw the door, but if you guys noticed, inside that same shed, there's a huge open wall where he could maneuver the cement mixer, the lawn mowing carts. So yeah, that could have been done by wind. Now I'm not going to totally say that all of this is fake, because there's a good possibility that is real, just because it's a cemetery, right? I believe 3 most haunted locations are cemeteries, hospitals, and churches. So yeah, could it be paranormal activity? Yes. Do I think that job is freaking awesome? Of course. If I could get paid to maintain a cemetery and just to chill, uh chill with the deceased, yeah, that's I mean, depends on how much she's getting paid, right? But yeah, that would be an awesome freaking job, if you ask me. But without further ado, let's continue on.
User known as Novariety5078 shared this unsettling clip to the Paranormal Encounters subreddit. The footage was recorded by a security camera inside what appears to be a department store somewhere in Chile. At first, everything seems completely normal. The store is empty, quiet, and still. But within seconds, something strange happens. Watch the left side of the screen carefully. A very tall, shadow-like figure appears to move down the staircase before suddenly disappearing. If this footage is real, one detail immediately stands out: the figure's height. It looks far taller than an average person, and much taller than what most people imagine when they think of a ghost. There's very little information provided about the clip, which makes it difficult to know what's really happening here. Some viewers believe this could be a genuine apparition captured on CCTV, especially since the figure seems to move naturally through the space before vanishing. Others argue that this could be the result of a camera glitch. Low frame rate security cameras are known to struggle with movement on stairs, sometimes causing people to partially disappear due to compression or frame blending. Still, seeing a towering figure appear and fade away inside an empty store is enough to make anyone uneasy. So what do you think? A technical error or something that wasn't meant to be there?
I had to pause it because what? Oh, okay, cool. I thought I was saying the content creator's wrong name because there's a couple of content creators like Scary Comp, Scary Flashbacks. So I thought I was saying the wrong content creator. But anyway, Scary Comp usually ends his video at the last word that he says. So I try to pause it right before because I like to show you guys, everything that he does. But with that being said, that video, yeah, I was about to just say that could have been due to the poor quality camera and the frame per second. It could have been even a security guard doing his rounds, coming down the escalator and just moving, because with the night vision, it makes the frame per second even worse. And if the security guard is just trying to do his job, he's just going to walk like nothing, and you will even notice. And when he comes across this clip, he'd be like, what? Now, what triggered the person to watch at this exact time? That is my question. Who saw this? How did they find it? Because the fact of the matter is, everything is still, nothing's moving. So for you to find a specific point in a security camera that's been recording for hours, something must have had happened. I would like to know that detail before confirming that this is paranormal activity. But with that being said, you guys, I will put Scary Comp information in the description section. And if you guys are enjoying yourselves, please do what you do when you like a video. Hit that like, share, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. And I'll catch you guys on the next. Peace.